This is a full story. Kitten wishes you all a happy and enjoyable story. I accidentally came across a highly upvoted post. I slept with my brother's fiancée. How shocking. In the picture, a man's fingertip is holding a black lace panty. The scar on his finger is identical to my brother Tony's, and that panty belongs to my fiancée, now hanging on the balcony. 5 minutes ago, I came across a question on a forum. What is the most thrilling thing you've ever done? The top-rated answer included a photo that made me break out in a cold sweat. My hand trembled slightly as I held my phone. I stared wide-eyed at the picture in the response, fearing to miss even the slightest detail. Black lace size M with a little thread sticking out of the elastic. The identical panties were glaringly hanging on my balcony half a month ago while grabbing clothes. I noticed a set of washed underwear that was quite revealing, not at all like my fiancée Haley's usual style. When I asked her about it, her face turned bright red, mumbling a response. Where did you find that? I wanted to surprise you. Isn't your birthday coming up? I thought you men liked this kind of style, so I bought it. At that moment, I felt both happy and guilty, thinking her awkwardness was just because I had stumbled onto her surprise, not even noticing the "you men" in her words. I saw the long thread sticking out of the waistband and felt a pang of sympathy. If you're going to buy something, at least choose better quality. Don't hesitate to use my card. She nodded obediently and casually grabbed a pair of scissors from the drawer, cutting off the thread, leaving just a small piece. Looking back now, she has never been stingy with my card. Why would she hesitate to buy a set of underwear? Unless it was to avoid being caught. If the style might be repeated, then that little piece of thread almost confirmed Haley's guilt. My mind was blank buzzing. At first, it was Haley who pursued me, and our relationship had always been good after we got together. Deep down, I never wanted to believe she could do something like this. Perhaps it was a coincidence. After all, there are many coincidences in the world. I clicked on the original poster's profile, starting from the latest post, hoping to find evidence to rebut what I had seen. But the more I scrolled, the more desperate I became. After filtering out unrelated posts, I realized that there had been something suspicious from their very first meeting. The first post read, "What should I do if I kind of like my brother's fiancée?" The photo was of a woman's back, her figure somewhat resembling Haley's. The background of the photo was the restaurant where I had first introduced them. The second post said, "I think I've really fallen for my brother's fiancée." Underneath, he liked a comment that read, "Do you like her, or are you liking up?" The third post stated, "My brother's fiancée has a front-back figure. I can't take it." The accompanying image was a profile shot, eerily similar to Haley's profile. The fourth post exclaimed, "I never expected my brother's fiancée is secretly in love with me. This is so exciting." The fifth post declared, "My dream has come true. We did it." The image was of a bed, with a woman lying sideways, the bracelet on her wrist identical to Haley's. The sixth post boasted, "Unlock new locations and new positions on my brother's couch." The photo depicted a messy couch, its color and style exactly like the one Haley and I had chosen at the furniture market. The seventh post was about the previously mentioned popular post. Each post attracted countless onlookers. Most were envious, even calling him teacher, while a small number expressed disdain. If the similarity in their underwear was just a coincidence, the numerous details in the photos clearly indicated that the brother's fiancée mentioned by the original poster was indeed Haley. No wonder a few days ago Haley ordered 3 boxes of condoms online. I even joked with her, asking if she intended to wear me out. She laughed and jumped into my arms, saying, "You have to use them all within a month. Otherwise, I might give them to someone else." I thought it was just her playful banter, but it turned out she had merely stated her true feelings disguised as a joke. As for the man, he was even easier to identify. He was my college classmate Tony. I noticed this post precisely because the red scar on his index finger matched the one in the photo perfectly. Had I not sensed something was off, I would have shared the post with Tony, teasing him a bit. I once asked Tony how he got that scar, and he told me he accidentally cut himself while helping his family harvest rice when he was young. During college, I knew his family was struggling, and I often took care of him. I even got him his current job. I never expected that while I treated him like a brother, he would betray me like this. The double betrayal left me heartbroken, and I felt as if I had fallen into an ice cellar. After a brief moment of calm, only one thought remained in my mind. I wanted to make them suffer more than death. That night when Haley came home from work, she kicked off her shoes and threw herself into my arms. As she raised her hand, a faint red mark on her waist was revealed, exactly like the one in the photo. Usually, I would hold her tightly, asking her how her day was, but today I did nothing. Haley paused, seeming to sense my unusual behavior, and cautiously asked, "Rocky, what's wrong?" I shook my head and gently pushed her away. "No, it's nothing, just tired." I was suppressing my emotions, which were clogging my throat. As I walked out to the balcony, pulled out a cigarette and lit it. The black lace panties fluttering above me in the wind constantly reminded me of my humiliation. If it weren't illegal to hit someone, I would love to deliver a punch, but just a beating wouldn't relieve my anger. Watching Haley walk towards me with a worried face, I couldn't help but snicker coldly. How skilled must one be to sleep with their fiancé's brother while pretending to be concerned at home? It was truly a shame she hadn't won an Oscar. You usually complain that you're uncomfortable wearing these kinds kinds of panties. So why have I seen you wearing this one so often lately? Haley loved silk fabric the most skin-friendly, and thought this kind of underwear was too tight to wear except in bed. She paused for a moment before responding casually. Isn't it just to prevent them from getting musty if left unused? I bought them, so it would be a waste not to wear them. Everything she used was high-end, and she would never choose such low-quality underwear. Unless, of course, Tony bought them, and he liked them. Facing what could be a shattered lie, Haley was shockingly calm and lied without a hitch, indicating she had done this too often and was now quite adept at it. The girl who would blush to her ears from just holding hands was long gone. I stubbed out the cigarette calmly and said, I had the maid prepare a lot of delicious dishes. We have distinguished guests coming over. Haley blinked in surprise and asked, distinguished guests, who are they? Just as her words fell, a knock echoed at the door. Haley opened the door. The moment she saw Tony, her eyes were filled with surprise, but she quickly turned serious. It turned out that if one paid attention, there were many little flaws to notice. Today, Tony wore a deep gray wool coat, with a segment of a deep brown turtleneck shirt peeking out, and his hairstyle was neatly done, making him look quite dapper. He rarely dressed up before, often just putting on a hoodie and heading out with his messy hair. That's why Haley always disliked him, calling him scruffy. Why, you're all dressed up. Do you have a date today? Tony smiled at me. Stop joking, you know how I usually am. I just dressed up a bit for Haley, so she wouldn't say I look scruffy again. This was clever. To Haley's ears, it sounded like he dressed up just for her, and to me it was a reminder that Haley had always disliked him. Indeed, every time they met, they always loathed each other. This was also the reason I never thought of them in that way. Sure enough, Haley's lips couldn't help but slightly curve, but she still shot a glare at Tony. No matter how you dress, you can't hide the smell on you. You haven't showered in days, have you? Tony looked at me awkwardly, with an expression of helplessness. Rocky, listen to what she's saying. Every time we meet, she's teasing me. What a sharp tongue. How do you usually put up with her? The two exchanged barbs. It seemed like a fierce argument, but in reality, they were sweetly sparring. I ignored the undercurrents of flirtation between them, enjoying their superb acting. After a few rounds of drinks, I asked the maid to head home first, and when I stood up, I deliberately spilled some wine on myself. I used that as an excuse to change clothes, and went up to my room. As soon as I entered the room, I couldn't wait to pull out my phone for monitoring. These were the pinhole cameras I had bought during the day, 3 in total, covering the entire living room. On the monitor the moment I entered, they couldn't hold back any longer. Haley got up and hugged his shoulders from behind. You're looking so handsome today. Are you trying to seduce me? Tony stood up, gripped her wrist, and pushed her against the wall, leaning down to kiss her. The two acted as if they were at home, and Tony even started to get handsome. Their lips were inseparable, and their panting breaths were caught on camera, frame by frame. Even though all that remained for me was disgust for them, it was hard to stay calm, seeing such an extremely insulting scene with my own eyes. The only silver lining was that I had already set the recording. The undeniable evidence of Haley and Tony's affair was firmly in hand. As I went downstairs, I purposely cleared my throat a couple of times, reminding the two of them to wrap it up. Sure enough, by the time I descended, they were both sitting properly in their respective seats, though they had tidied up a bit. Upon closer inspection, some traces were still evident, like the lipstick that Haley hadn't managed to wipe off completely. I raised my hand and gently wiped it away. Haley seemed flustered, hastily explaining, the dishes the maid made today were so delicious. I even smeared my lipstick while eating. Tony chimed in. Haley even said I was scruffy. Looks like she's not much better herself. I listened indifferently, almost ready to sneer. Had I not seen it with my own eyes, I would never have imagined that the two of them, who were just passionately kissing, were now bickering. I walked over to the main seat and sat down, seriously stating, Haley and I have set our wedding date. It's next Saturday. As soon as I spoke, both of their faces instantly changed. Haley instinctively stood up, her face full of shock. Rocky, didn't you say your family disapproved? Why are you in such a hurry? Tony, though shocked, also agreed. You and your sister-in-law have been together for so long. It really is time to get married. Haley, upon hearing this, looked at Tony in disbelief. Then her eyes turned red. I pretended to be oblivious and asked, what's wrong? Getting married is a good thing. Why are you crying? My question made Haley realize her breach of decorum, so she quickly adjusted her emotions. It's just so sudden I got overly happy all at once. My parents had always disapproved of my relationship with Haley, but I stubbornly insisted on being with her. Now reaching the age for marriage, my parents had no choice but to nod, setting the wedding date for next year, hoping we would break up before then. My parents built their lives from nothing, having seen all sorts of people along the way. They didn't like Haley, perhaps they had already seen her true nature, but at that time I was blinded by love, willing to defy my parents to be with her. Tony's attitude surprised me, though I could sense his astonishment. His words hinted at a certain excitement for our marriage. After dinner, Haley took the initiative to offer to walk Tony downstairs. I stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, observing everything through the gap in the curtains. You don't love me anymore? Hearing Rocky say you're getting married next week. You seem happier than him. Tony pulled the sulking Haley into an embrace. "Not at all, I'm just worried he'll see something's off. Don't overthink it, I only love you." The handsome man and beautiful woman embraced tenderly, making them look like a couple of a quarrel just reconciled to passersby. If the girl weren't my fiancée and the guy weren't my good buddy, I might have thought the same. How long had it been since I'd seen Haley's innocent, shy expression? It turned out she had already changed day by day, but I had been too slow to notice. I watched coldly, taking out my phone to snap a picture of them embracing. That night, Tony eagerly updated his status on a social media platform. A brother and his fiancée were getting married, not knowing that I had already tired of that woman. In the future, if I planted a seed in his wife's belly, all of his family assets would belong to my son. The thought of playing with someone else's wife excited me even more. Most of the comments below were just people eager for a spectacle, while some criticized him for being despicable. But he replied nonchalantly, "Luxury house's wifey career. Why should he have everything just because he was born that way? I'm just as good." No wonder Tony seemed happier when he heard about the wedding being moved up. Turns out he had such ulterior motives, not only coveting my wife, but also longing for my family's wealth. I had always helped him. What a perfect scene of the farmer and the snake. From his calculations, it was clear he had little genuine affection for Haley. It was more about using her and a selfish desire. The wedding was grand, with friends and family from both sides, filling over 40 tables. I had invited all her distant relatives, as well as all her classmates. A large screen played a slideshow of sweet photos of Haley and me. The atmosphere was warm and romantic. Standing in front of her, tears streaming down my face, I recited heartfelt words of love over and over again. Plus, I had always treated Haley well, so my image as a devoted partner was well established. Haley was moved to tears, her emotions spilling over. When it was her turn to speak, my phone rang in my pocket. Feigning surprise, I took out my phone, turned off the alarm I had set earlier, and my expression grew increasingly somber. Everyone noticed my serious demeanor, confused and exchanging glances. I looked up at Haley, then walked over to her parents. "Uncle, Auntie, I'm afraid the wedding can't go on today." They knew that Haley marrying me was a significant opportunity for their family. During our relationship, they had benefited from me in many ways, even my help in getting Haley's brother a job. Upon hearing that the wedding was in jeopardy, her parents hurriedly asked what was wrong. I didn't answer. Instead, I raised my hand and cast the video from my phone onto the big screen behind me. In the video, Haley was on a large bed, engaged in a passionate act with a man. From the surroundings, it was clear it was a hotel. The camera was positioned directly above, showing only Haley's face, but not the man's. Shameful sounds echoed through the entire venue. I pressed pause, freezing the frame at the clearest view of Haley's face. Haley was immediately stunned, blurting out, Who filmed this?" Of course it was me. And even just days before the wedding, they hadn't stopped their affair. I had tracked down the hotel they frequently visited, slipped a little money, and the front desk girl helped me get the room where I had installed the camera. After they had their fun, I quietly retrieved the camera. I certainly wouldn't admit to it. Raising the microphone, I put on an act of utter devastation. "Dear friends and family, I just received a video from an unknown number, and I assume everyone has seen it. I can hardly believe that my most trusted fiancé has betrayed me." A few words put me firmly on the moral high ground. The audience erupted in an uproar. Wow, how cheap is Haley? Rocky is so good to her, and she's still not satisfied. She wants love, but doesn't want to give up the money from your family. It's truly disgusting. Women like this are just seeking thrills. Good thing they aren't married. I need to record this and share it in the class group. It's always better to enjoy the drama together. Haley quivered, nearly losing her balance. Her brother found it embarrassing and left her behind. Her father couldn't hold back anymore and stepped forward to slap her. The slap was forceful and Haley's face instantly swelled. "You ungrateful wretch. Our family's good days depend on Rocky. If he doesn't marry you, don't even think about coming home." Her mother, both embarrassed and angry, fell to the ground and grabbed my pant leg. "Rocky, please forgive Haley this once. She must have been deceived by that man. You two have been in love for so many years, it's time to make it official. Don't give up so easily." After saying this, she pulled Haley over and both of them knelt before me. Her mother pressed Haley's head down, continuously banging it on the ground. Haley's forehead was red and swollen, her makeup a mess, looking utterly disheveled. "Rocky, I was wrong. Please forgive me this once. I was deceived. I love you. I beg you for another chance, please." Love. If she truly loved me, how could she continually climb into my good brother's bed? The day before the wedding, they had fought in the hotel for hours. If this is what she calls love, then such love is not something I desire. Seeing the pitiful appearance of her family brought me a sense of satisfaction. I suppressed the urge to laugh, rubbed my forehead, and feigned an expression of pain and exhaustion. "Uncle, Aunt, you know my parents have never agreed to my marriage with Haley, and now this incident has occurred. Our family will definitely not allow such a woman to enter our home." I squatted down and pulled a bank card from Haley's father's chest pocket. "I can only take back this $1 million in bride price. You've seen the expenses of the wedding. I won't ask you for the money, considering Haley has been with me for so many years." Haley's family watched with wide eyes as I took back the bank card, and this sense of gain and loss deepened their hatred for Haley. In a fit of anger and shame, they announced that Haley was to be thrown out of the house. That evening, I invited Tony to drink together. When he arrived, his demeanor was awkward, and he dared not make eye contact with me. Honestly, I didn't expect your sister-in-law to be this kind of person. He accused Haley as soon as he came in. I clutched my glass. The ice inside as cold as my heart at that moment. I suppressed the urge to punch him in the face and said in a hushed voice, "It's still the brothers who are reliable. They never betray me." Tony's hand holding the glass trembled slightly. He broke off eye contact, lowering his head to say, "Women are like clothes, but brothers are like family." I laughed heartily, mocking his shamelessness, and feeling ridiculous for having become brothers with someone like him. After hesitating for a moment, he seemed a bit nervous, finishing the whiskey left in his glass in one gulp. "Rocky, do you know who that man is?" I looked at him with a half smile, remaining silent for a long time. So long, in fact, that Tony became uncomfortable, fidgeting in his seat. When he finally spoke again, his voice trembled. "What's wrong, Rocky? Is there something on my face?" I shook my head dejectedly. "I don't know. If I knew who that man was, I would have skinned him alive." Tony clearly sighed in relief and insincerely said, "That guy really got off easy." I snorted coldly, "Yeah, he got off easy with you." Tony's eyes widened, and he waved his hands repeatedly. "Rocky, what are you talking about? I've never gotten along with your sister-in-law. Or rather, I've never been on good terms with Haley, and you know that. After all these years as brothers, how could I do such a thing without a conscience?" It turned out he knew his actions weren't justifiable. Seeing him dripping with cold sweat, eager to defend himself, I secretly delighted in his discomfort. He must be feeling really panicked inside. I chuckled, "Why are you so anxious? You're my brother. Why would I doubt you?" His face showed surprise, his heart racing. "What did you mean when you said, 'got off easy'?" I leaned back in my chair and explained, "A friend of mine is going back home, and I plan to introduce her to you." Tony looked skeptical. "Introduce her to me?" I nodded, feigning seriousness. "Although my love life is a mess, I hope yours goes smoothly. She's a rich and beautiful woman, so make sure to seize the opportunity. Good things shouldn't go to waste." The first time Tony laid eyes on Serena, his eyes lit up. It was their first meeting, and Serena was wearing a black spaghetti strap dress, which hugged her figure perfectly, showcasing her graceful curves. Tony had heard me mention Serena and knew she was a famous rich beauty. Not only was she wealthy and stunning, but she was also the only daughter of the S family. Whoever married her would inherit the entire S family business. Tony never dreamed he would meet a goddess like Serena. When Serena saw, she casually sat down. "This is the handsome guy you introduced to me. He looks great and seems honest, perfect for a boyfriend." Her compliments left Tony stunned, and after processing her words, his smile was wider than ever. Just 3 days ago, he was loving up on Haley, and now just days later, he was developing feelings for a woman he had just met. It was clear his feelings for Haley weren't very deep, and that fool Haley thought she had found true love. How amusing. I understood Tony's choice, though. After seeing Haley's true colors, I suddenly found her appearance and character quite ordinary, and I couldn't understand how I had liked her in the first place. In contrast, Serena had been raised like royalty, exuding nobility and grace with every gesture. Her personality was easygoing as well. In terms of looks, character, and family background, Serena completely overshadowed Haley. The two of them chatted happily, and no matter what Serena said, Tony was attentive and engaged. Before long, they exchanged WeChat contacts. "Mr. Tony, although you are unmarried, I still have to ask, you don't have a girlfriend, do you? Or a mistress or a casual partner? You know our S family has very strict expectations for future successors." Tony hurriedly got up to explain. "No, Miss Serena, don't worry. I'm the kind of person who focuses solely on work. I've never dated, and casual partners are out of the question. Don't believe me? Just ask Rocky." I couldn't help but chuckle inwardly. 10 days ago, Tony genuinely seemed like that kind of person to me, but hearing him say this now only made me find it laughable. But I wouldn't expose him. Indeed, I've seen it all. After dinner, Serena offered to give Tony a ride home, and I found a CAF to sit in alone. I calculated the time, and they should have arrived by now. Sure enough, a message quickly came through on my phone. It was a video. The cover showed Tony aloof with his hands in his pockets, while Haley stood in front of him carrying heavy bags, crying uncontrollably. As soon as the video started, Tony heard Haley's sobs. "Who was that woman you just sent home? I've been so good to you, I even gave up marriage for you. And you, in just a few days, you've fallen for another woman. You clearly said you loved me when you seduced me to bed. I'm terrified of Rocky finding out. Do you know how on edge I am every day? Our relationship is so hard. How can you just say, let's break up?" Tony had just dreamed of marrying a wealthy, beautiful woman, and in his eyes, Haley had suddenly become worthless, even a burden. He was eager to get rid of her. His words turned cruel. "A clap doesn't make a sound by itself. If you hadn't slept with me, could Rocky have called off the engagement? Stop throwing dirt on my name. I have a better choice now. Serena is prettier and richer than you. As long as I can marry her, I will leap to the top. Get lost quickly. If she sees you ruining my good fortune, I won't spare you." A woman's jealousy is terrifying. She stared at him intently. "Tony, I never expected you to be this kind of person. Just wait, I'm going to tell Rocky who I cheated with. By then, don't say you'll marry a rich beauty. Rocky will never let you off the hook." look. This was Tony's greatest fear in a fit of rage. He slapped Haley, her face turned to the side from the force. "If you dare say anything, do you believe I'll kill you?" But Haley was unfazed. "If you want to kill me, go ahead. At worst, it will be death for us both." Serena sat across from me, raising her hand to order a cup of coffee. "Did you see the video I sent you, you little rascal? You've gotten someone pregnant and things just got complicated." I shook my head. "It's not complicated. That child isn't mine. Every time I was intimate with Haley, I never slacked off on contraception. And besides, I hadn't been with her for over a month. When I got home that night, I found that Tony had deleted all the posts related to Haley. It seemed he was a bit scared, afraid I'd find out. More afraid this would come to Serena's attention." A few days later, Haley stood outside my door early in the morning, dragging her luggage with a pitiful look on her face. Seeing her like this, she didn't resemble someone who had just gone through an abortion. As soon as she saw me, she knelt down. "Rocky, I was wrong. I just wanted something new for a moment. The one I truly love is you. That man seduced me first. Please forgive me. In the future, it's only you for me. Let's have a child and live a plain life together, okay?" At first, I thought she had nowhere to go, wanting to seek refuge with me. But as soon as I heard her say, "have a child," I realized what her true intentions were. I thought Tony would be torn for a while, choosing between marrying a wealthy beauty and reaching the peak of life, or choosing Haley and his own child. To my surprise, that dog wanted both. He wanted me to help raise the child he was dreaming. I pushed Haley's hand away and coldly asked, "Who is that man?" She wouldn't appear before me to put on this act without having discussed it with Tony beforehand. Sure enough, she pretended to struggle, slowly starting to speak. "He's someone I met online. I don't even know his name. I've deleted all his contact information. Rocky, I can't lose you." I smiled and nodded. She thought a simple, out of sight, out of mind would make me forget about her affair. They probably never expected that I had known all along who the adulterer was. Watching Haley perform like a clown trying to win my sympathy, I might have felt soft-hearted in the past, but now all that remained was indifference. I looked down at her with disdain. "I have a cleanliness obsession. I can't stand dirty things. I won't want you to give up on this thought. The farther you go, the better." After Haley left, I called Serena and secretly followed her. I saw her take a taxi to the building where Tony's company is located. "Well, did Rocky believe you?" Haley shook her head. "He asked me who the lover is." Tony immediately tensed up. "Did you tell him?" Serena has been getting along well with him these days. She is immersed in the dream of marrying a rich girl and can't afford any mistakes. "No." Haley buried her face in his arms, her eyes red. "I'm in this situation because of you. I was kicked out of my family again. I have nothing now. You can't just abandon me." Tony pushed her away in disgust. He was full of calculations. Haley no longer held any value and was simply a big trouble he wouldn't keep around. "What does that have to do with me? You got caught because you couldn't be careful. I haven't even settled the score with you yet. Serena is very satisfied with me if you ruin my good thing now. Don't blame me for being rude. If the baby can't be hidden from him, then just let it go." Inside the car, Serena glanced at me. "Your judgment is really poor. Your brother is full of schemes, and your girlfriend is fickle. I used to like you so much, chasing after you, and you only had eyes for Haley, never even looked at me." I blinked innocently. I was blind before. She chuckled and continued to glance at the two outside the car. I saw Haley so angry that she could barely stand, shouting at him, "This is your own child. How can you be so heartless? I must have been blind to fall for you. You've made me lose everything, and you want to marry a rich girl to have a good life. Dream on. If you won't let me have a good time, then don't expect to have one yourself." After Haley said that, she turned and ran away. Tony was so anxious he started banging his thigh. Seeing this comical scene, I laughed. Serena noticed I was laughing and smiled as well. "After so many days, I finally see you smile." My family and Serena's family are familiar with each other. I'm 2 years older, and we grew up together, so she's practically my childhood friend. I have a quiet personality while she's always a cheerful spirit, frequently making me laugh heartily. But perhaps because I was too close to her, I always thought of her as a little sister. Seeing her again after 3 years, I realized she has grown into a graceful young woman. Especially in front of Tony, her charming demeanor would captivate any man. Serena stroked her chin. "What do you think they will do next?" I started the car, snorting coldly. What else could they do? They'll either destroy each other. Haley quickly added Serena on WeChat. Serena frowned. "Who is this person? I don't know her." And she adds me. I understood. "Haley has come to you to complain." After becoming friends, Haley got straight to the point. "I'm Haley. The person I cheated with is Tony, who is Rocky's good friend. Isn't your family supposed to be very selective about sons-in-law? You wouldn't let someone who betrays his good friend into the family, would you?" Serena slowly raised her thumb. "You're really something." It turns out Haley came to complain. It's not that I have some sort of divine insight. Haley had once copied down the WeChat IDs of all my male friends from my phone, deleting anyone she deemed a threat. The only way she could contact Serena was through this method. It's quite ridiculous when I think about it. She's out having fun with men while I can't even keep a male friend. Serena skillfully replied, "Without proof, do you think I'm going to believe you?" Haley immediately sent several photos, all showing her and Tony being intimate. Serena promptly merged the photos and forwarded them to Tony. "You can find other women, but to go after your brother's woman, don't contact me again. people like you make me sick." Then she blocked and deleted him in one go. When Tony saw the message and couldn't reach Serena, he ended up calling me. I quickly hung up and blocked him as well, deleting him in one go. Serena scoffed. "That jerk must be going crazy." I snorted. "It doesn't matter if he's going crazy. He won't throw his tantrum at us. Next, just wait to see the show." The next evening when I returned home, the nanny mysteriously informed me, "Mr. Tony came by this morning and I followed your instructions and didn't let him in." Later, Miss Haley arrived, her expression so cold it was frightening, and she took Mr. Tony away. I took the bowl and chopsticks from the nanny's hands, enjoying my meal with great delight. Perhaps my mood was upbeat. Even the food tasted much better. "I don't want to see them. Go to the property management office tomorrow and tell the security not to let those two in. Stay away from bad people, and life will be nourishing and joyful." I didn't expect my wish to come true so quickly. I wouldn't be seeing them anymore forever. Not long after the incident, Serena got the inside scoop. Her family's main business is media, so they are quite sensitive to these social hot news. Haley dragged Tony off the overpass. She sent over a surveillance video. In the video, the overpass is silent and eerie at night. Tony is aggressively dragging Haley, while she has a grim and sullen expression. As they reach the middle of the overpass, Tony keeps shouting in rage, though I can't hear the sounds. I can roughly guess he is furious because of Haley's accusations. I don't know what he said, but it clearly pierced Haley's heart. Haley suddenly looked up and pushed Tony down. By the time Tony realized what was happening, it was already too late. He could only watch helplessly as he fell from the overpass. Though there weren't many vehicles on the road at night, a big truck passed by occasionally. By coincidence, he crashed onto the windshield of a big truck, his body being thrown over 10 meters away, dying on the spot. Haley laughed a few times, and without hesitation climbed over the railing and jumped down. She landed on the truck's body, having survived at least half of her life. At that moment, she was lying in the ICU of the hospital, and even if she lived, she would never walk again. Her mind traumatized, driven to madness. Her parents and brother had long disowned her as family, and she would probably spend the rest of her life in a mental hospital. Serena asked me, "Do you want to see her?" I was silent for a few seconds. No. Haley for love, Tony for flesh and profit. They came together and destroyed my 8 years of affection. Then when their true love shattered and their dreams of wealth collapsed, they began to resent each other, ending up with one broken and the other dead. Why should I still pity them? Everything is just their own doing. In the year that followed, I focused on my career, having long forgotten Haley and Tony. The family business was running smoothly under my management, with annual profits increasing by 10%. My father was pleased and immediately rewarded me with a blind date, standing outside the CAF for the date. I hesitated, unsure whether to go in. In the end, I decided to just go through the motions. To my surprise, as soon as I opened the door, I saw Serena sitting by the window in a white blouse and black skirt, with long dark hair and skin as fair as snow. She clearly saw me too and smiled as she stood up. I waved my hand and said, "Miss S, what are you doing here?" With a serious expression, she extended her hand. "Hello, I'm Serena, your blind date." I burst out laughing. She was still as playful and charming as ever. Sunlight streamed through the window, casting a warm glow over us, clearing my throat twice. I solemnly took her hand. "Hello, Miss Serena, I'm Rocky. It's a pleasure to be your blind date." The gloom had vanished, and the sunlight was just right. Life stretched ahead, with every future day worth looking forward to. The end. If you like Kitten's story, please follow and like it. Updated every morning at 9 a.m.